Good. Hey guys, Aaron here from Clever Programmer, and I'm here with Daniel. So he's never actually been on a stream before, but Daniel actually currently works at Blue Origin as a software developer. And so I got him on here on this call really quick, and he and I are going to be riffing about, is college worth it for programmers? So I currently have my video on my screen. I should be here. But yeah, we're going to be going over, is college worth it for programmers in 2020 and beyond? So we're just kind of be having a conversation really here and answering. Hey guys, Aaron here from Clever Programmer. There's pros and cons to both. I'm here with Daniel, and we just kind of want to touch on. He's never actually been on a stream before, but Daniel actually currently works at Blue Origin as a software developer. So Daniel, how about we start off here on this call really quick, and he and I are going to be riffing about is college worth it? I know you went to school. Do you have a master's or you have a bachelor's? So I only have my video on my screen. I should be here.
So I'll go ahead and answer that with my story. So
yeah,
like Aaron said, my name is Daniel Safer. Currently, I am a software engineer working for Blue Origin. If you guys don't know what Blue Origin is, it's
hey guys, Aaron here from
Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. His private space company, and I get to work there. Yeah, dude. So much exciting stuff going on there.
It's not quite space though. Daniel, how about we start off on this call really quick about you?
Hey, just give it some time, man.
How long you been working there for? You have a couple years now.
So I've been working there almost for like about 3 years now.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and almost 3 years. In January, I'll be right up on 3 years. But basically, my background is currently I am a software engineer working for Blue Origin. That if you guys don't know what Blue Origin is, I bet Jeff Bezos is like, to be honest, I went to University of Texas El Paso. I get to work from El Paso. Yeah, dude. So I didn't and stuff going on there.
It's not quite space though.
So I'm in Seattle working out. Just give it some time. But
how long you been working there for? Years now?
So in El Paso, Texas, UTEP is interesting because it's one of those universities that have like almost 3 years. In January, I'll be right up on 3 years. But basically, my background currently, so it's not like college engineer, just a university that, if you guys don't know, Stanford or MIT or I bet Jeff Bezos is like, so go in there, man. I went to like University of Texas. I get to work from El Paso. Yeah, so I didn't and stuff going on. Yeah, it's
not quite space though.
Exactly. So I'm in Seattle working. Just give it some time. But
how long you been working there for? You have a couple years now.
So in El Paso, Texas, UTEP is interesting because it's one of those universities that have like almost 3 years. In January, I'll be right up on 3 years. But basically, my background currently, so it's not like college engineer, just a university that, if you guys
do it later on the stream, but phone call, guys.
Stanford or MIT or I bet Jeff Bezos is like, to be honest, in there, man. I went to like University of Texas. I get to work from there. Yeah. So I didn't and something that was always space. Exactly. I'm in Seattle, man. Like I'm just going to give it this regular ass school. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm not going to be able to achieve much at all, right? But over those 4 years that I was working, I was actually not just focused on school, but I was working outside of school as well. I was getting externships. Basically, externship is like an internship where you work for free.
An externship?
I was just trying to get
I've never heard that before.
Externship, right? So it's just for the experience. Okay. That's exactly why you do that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I was willing to put in the work for free to learn mobile development because that's kind of what I was going into. That's kind of what I was a little bit passionate about there. But I was really active trying to learn as much as I could, trying to build up my technical skill set. And in the matter of the 4 years, when I graduated, I was actually able to graduate with offers from big tech companies. So I had an offer from YouTube/Google, and I had an offer from Microsoft, and I had an offer from Blue Origin. So it was crazy because what I learned was it's not about where you are or where you're starting from. It's about where you end up. And then what are the things that you're going to do there to end up. So everyone, and even Aaron knows this, what we're about to say might actually disappoint you, might go against everything you believe in this live call about what college is and whether you need it or whether you're not. We'll be discussing all those things. But what you have to realize is regardless, whatever path you take, you can still build that future that you want for yourself if you want to become the freelancer.
One second, guys. They said there's voice problems. 100 guys talking now. Let me mute you on. Speak again. Oh, speak again, Daniel.
Testing.
Yo, guys, can you guys hear me? Audio problem. Sorry, guys. Didn't see you guys in the chat. The voices are looping. Ah, shit.
Voices are looping. Is that like feedback?
Probably. Is it still looping, you guys? Oh shit! And then the stream is loading. It might still be going. Yo,
okay.
Hey, can you guys hear me? It is solved. Now it's okay. Great. Now it's fine. Perfect.
You guys hear me? Am I good?
Okay. Yeah, they're saying audio is great. It's good now. Awesome. I don't know how much got screwed up there, but yeah, let's just continue.
I'll recap super quick.
Got it.
Right. Big lesson is doesn't matter where you start. What matters is where you want to end up and what it is that you're going to do. What work are you going to put in to be able to get to that spot? So if that's being a freelancer, what projects are you going to take on? What mentors are you going to get across? What community are you going to put yourself in to learn the technical skill sets, to learn the soft skill sets that you need to become the freelancer that is living that free, or basically that lifestyle where you're your own boss, you're working on your own time, you have time to enjoy with your family, you have time to enjoy life. Or if you want to go to the corporate world and go up the corporate ladder, right, where you actually, you get the job that you want at big tech company, you get the nice 401k compensation that they give you, which is awesome, and all that good stuff, then what are the things that you have to do, whether it's academic or non-academic, to get to that point? And those are some of the things that we're going to be discussing today, because you might or might not need college depending on your situation.
Definitely. And yeah, I think it really depends. Yeah, it definitely depends on your situation. What's interesting about you, Daniel, is you're currently working at Blue Origin as a software developer, which is awesome, amazing, but you're also kind of doing some business stuff on the side, right? Like more freelance based. So, well, first of all, for your job at Blue Origin, was your degree useful? Did you already mention that? And like landing the interviews, or like it being on your resume, was it helpful?
So that's a great question, and this is something that I've talked a lot about with my friend. So here's the thing: when big tech companies are trying to hire for someone, the thing is they're getting so many applications. They're getting hit with like thousands and thousands of applications per day. That's why there's such a low acceptance rate, right? It's not necessarily because they only accept these geniuses. They accept people who put in the work, who learn the skill, but it's just because so many people are applying. It's kind of like the Mecca, and everyone's trying to just travel there, and Google's like, hey, well, we can't hire everyone, so we have to have that filtering process. So that's where that filtering process starts with, which is the resume. Now, very often, because recruiters have that system set up, they'll be like, hey, maybe find me someone that has a higher GPA than whatever that may be, or filter it in these mechanisms. So if you do the traditional path, which is what I was telling my friend, if you do the traditional path where you go to school, then in that case, maybe the grades might be a little bit important to get that filtering mechanism. But after that, no, am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, like cussing is fine, just no sensitive topics. Like YouTube's fine with cussing, just no like controversial stuff, Stay politically correct,
okay.
Is what I'm saying.
I'll say PC then. But look, like after that, like Google doesn't give a shit about what your GPA was after you graduate. They want to see if you can produce, if you can write code, if you can actually help them develop whatever product it is that the team is trying to hire you. So what that means for you is, after that initial filtering phase, if you go the traditional path with with college, of you have a good GPA, at that point it's all about what projects have you developed, what things have you actually done that shows that you're proactive about getting that experience, that shows that you're passionate about programming and developing software. Now here's the cool thing, right? There's also other ways that you can get past that filtering mechanism if you don't have a background in computer science. But you're still going to need that other component of showing that you have the experience, which is building the projects, which is working with teammates, which is mentoring people, being inside of an amazing community like the Profit with JavaScript community, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because the way you can now go around that is maybe you do networking, you get to know someone that can be a referral or whatever that may be. We could dive into those details if anyone wants to know those details, but the important thing is you still need the practice, you still need the experience, because they're putting a risk to hiring you, right? They're like, hey man, like you've shown all these things, we don't know if it's going to work out or not, but let's bring you on. So they at least want to make sure it's not much of a risk for them, because they're absolutely crushing it with whatever side project it is that you might have going on. Plus you're learning, you're proactive. It just shows you as an individual who's willing to take action to move forward and learn and do the things that you have to do to excel at that job.
Got it. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, yeah, from my point of view, to add on to that point, personally, oh, we lost Daniel there for a second. You there, Daniel?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to switch the camera. I'm gonna mess with it a little more to switch it, but keep going, brother.
Got it. Yo, so lost my train of thought there. What were you just talking about? Well,
basically, so you need that experience to be able to land a job was the main point that I was pushing up.
Got it. Yeah, you need the experience to land a job. Yeah, so that's definitely true. That's a problem that I personally ran into when I moved to Los Angeles. I was currently a graduate student studying computer science and artificial intelligence at Georgia Tech, like I mentioned earlier. And I thought it'd be really easy to find a job. You know, I have my bachelor's degree, I have my resume, everything. I had an 8-month internship at the leading tech company in Hawaii, paid internship, and I did some really cool AI computer vision stuff there. And I thought it'd be really easy to find a job. But apparently it kind of depends on the company, but people don't like considering internships as like real world experience for whatever reason. So whenever I was applying to jobs, like I literally couldn't land any. I applied to 50 jobs literally, and all of them were like entry level positions, and they're like, oh, you need this amount of years to get the job. You need 1 year of experience minimum, 2 years of experience minimum, which is like this weird paradox kind of thing, like chicken or the egg situation. Like, how do you get the experience if you haven't had your entry level job? And it's not even unique to the coding industry. You know, I'm sure a lot of industries have the same problem. But ran into that problem. I mean, that's actually how I ended up on the Clever Programmer team, because I reached out to Kazi. I'd met him in person at a seminar once, and then I hit him up, asking if he knew anybody hiring, but he said I could just start working with him, and I ended up there, and it was the best thing that ever happened, to be honest. But the point I want to make is, yeah, there was an issue getting a job, even with a really good degree, and partially through my master's degree at a really like one of the top 10, 20 schools in the country. Top 10 for I think they're number 8 for computer science in the country, or number 7, tied for number 7 or something, Georgia Tech at the time. So it was just a struggle, and I kind of realized, yeah, like if you have the experience and you have the connections, that's really all you need. And it kind of just goes back into like sales and business principles of, hey, how do you land this job, or how do you start freelancing? As long as you can get the job done, you can get your foot in the door and really sell yourself, then that's really all you need. Like, do you feel like your degree was worth it? Like, how much, like, do you completely regret it? Or if you could go back in time, would you have not have done it and like tried to pursue something sooner?
So I like to answer that question in this way, and here's a reality. If I look at what I'm currently doing right now, I could probably pick out of my 4-year degree, I could probably think and pick about less than a handful of classes that are strictly applicable to what I'm doing.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
That's
a
because
handful of professors that were worth it, and a handful of professors that were not worth it.
Dude, yeah, I had lots of those professors. Those professors that they just showed up. All of them, everyone has this professor. They just show up. They have their PowerPoint there. They turn it on, and they just start reading it to you. It's like, yeah, like it's all there, and then you have to go out there and learn by yourself and figure all that shit out to be like, oh my god, what do I have to do? So yes, those professors are out there, but then there's the ones that also are willing to put in that time for you, right? So if you do happen to go to like that university, like Stanford, the MIT, you're gonna find those professors that are not only super knowledgeable, they're like geniuses, but they're also really good at teaching. Now, if you happen to go to a school like that I went to, which, you know, isn't that huge or that prestigious, or maybe, I don't know if you had this experience in Hawaii, Aaron, but then there's just going to be some professors that they're just there to do their thing, and they're not great teachers, right? So then that teaching principle doesn't come, like, it doesn't translate over so well. And then it's like, oh man, well, it kind of sucks for me, because now I don't feel like putting in the effort when I didn't see the professor putting in the effort as well.
Yeah, and this is actually an interesting thing about Kazi I want to mention. If anybody who doesn't know Kazi's story, I mean, everybody should know Kazi who's watching this channel, but...
who's that?
Yeah, who the fuck? Kazi? Yeah, where is that boy? No, but Kazi, before he started the Clever Programmer channel, he was actually at school for computer science, and he was taking classes from his professors. But he actually started freelancing himself and was able to land a $20,000 contract with some company, I don't know, some plumbing company or freaking electric company, I don't know, something along those lines. He was coding some system up for the company to like manage some stuff. something like that. And after a bit, he was making a lot more money. He was learning from his professors, but at some point he started to make more money than his professors, and his professors started asking him for tips on how to like what he was doing. So like he noticed that, and he was like, wait a minute, my professor is asking me to teach him stuff. Like, what is going on? And he ended up dropping out. So you have some of those professors, and then sometimes you can kind of transcend them. But then of course there's really great professors like Georgia Tech. Like literally every professor I had there was just amazing. The content and the amount of intelligence at that level of school is just phenomenal. Like it's the world's best. You know, when you go to like one of the world's best schools in the USA, or like if you're like at Oxford or something in the UK or whatever other countries, like Waterloo, Canada, there's like good colleges all over the world. Like you'll usually have really good professors and you'll learn a lot, but it's not always applicable to what you actually want to do, which is what Daniel said earlier, right? So
exactly. So you could start to develop those things that you want to do by exploring with your own personal projects. So I mentioned before, I started to get into mobile development. Why? Because Aaron, I don't know if you remember, but do you ever remember the game Flappy Bird?
Oh hell yeah, of course. Played the hell out of that in high school.
I was playing. I literally.
Wait, if anybody who doesn't know what that is, let me pull it up really quick. So Flappy Bird.
Pull it up. Best game ever.
I'm gonna show you guys. The dude. You guys remember Flappy Bird? Oh, can you play it? Can you play it on browser? Maybe I can play
the computer?
It right. Yeah, I don't know. It says there's a.
Oh, right here. Sure.
Oh, okay. So this. Wait, let me change to my screen. There we go. So here's Flappy Bird.
Dude,
okay.
You suck, bro.
So what happens is when you have to click and you jump, right? This is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
It was a mobile app.
That's it. That's all you have to do.
And you just gotta
this
click
game.
To bounce.
Okay.
Okay.
So I need to get the story out, guys.
Okay. Okay, let me go back to
Dude,
the screen.
Us. This is the hardest, easiest game you're ever gonna come across, okay? And it literally took the world by storm. Everyone was posting just videos playing Flappy Bird. Everyone was posting their highest scores.
I'm just gonna play while you're talking.
This game just went. Yeah, keep playing, man. This game went completely viral. Now I'm gonna be honest. I was a little money hungry, and I was still in college, so I was like, man, how much is this developer making? Turned out, I think he was making like 50,000 a day or something like that, and I was like, dude, that's insane.
50K a day? I heard about that. Like, if you have a viral app, like you can make a crap ton of money. It's just a matter of getting it to go viral. Like,
now, here's the thing.
Candy Crush,
now
all those games.
Yeah, the mobile market has gotten like crazy saturated because people saw that opportunity. So a lot of people went there.
I'm just embarrassing myself, but I can't even get past the first one.
But I distinctly remember playing this in my physics 2 class. I'm like, screw this, like I want to become a mobile app developer. So what I started to do was I started to research, hey, how can I build an app for the Android? How can I build an app for iOS? And I started to learn Swift. I learned along with Xcode. And I learned Java and the Android Studio. And I was able to start to build these applications. And I was like, you know what, I want to take this a step further. This is where my externship came out. I reached out to a local company. Like, here I am, this college kid, all the experience I have is from my school. I reached out to a local company who's Android development. I'm like, hey guys, at first I tried to apply for a job, but then they're like, no, you know what? You're too new. You had no experience. Totally fine. I understand that, right? That's the chicken and the egg scenario you're talking about, right? They want every college grad to have 5 years of experience when they haven't even been in college for 5 years.
Yeah,
right?
like
so
silly.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, well, let's do this. What if you can hand me off a project that is not priority, that no one is working on, that you guys want to work on for the future? And I could just start messing around with that. Let me just dabble in there, see what I could do, and see if I could make something cool for you guys. So they had an idea of an Android application they wanted to have, but they just didn't have the resources. So they handed it off to me. So I would show up, like, I'm still in school, I'm working part-time, and my only off day was Friday. I'm giving up my entire damn Friday to show up to this office and just mess around with Android development. Like, that's the level of commitment that I had to developing the skill sets that I needed. And it wasn't even that, thinking in terms of a job. I was just having fun. I know a lot of you guys here in the stream have fun going through these projects that, like all these live codings that Clever Programmer's putting out. They're so much fun. They're super amazing. When Sunny, when Nas, when Kazi hop on, that was the type of fun I was having. I was willing to give up my Fridays for that. But because I was developing that skill set, that was a secondary consequence. Now I was able to actually develop a skill set alongside with that. But again, that goes based off what I always say that is priority, building more projects. And if you could build and find projects that you're excited about, then you're just going to, it's like this upward spiral. You're excited about it, you're learning more, you're having fun, and then you're getting more experience. And it just keeps on going up and up and up.
Feedback cycle, just all the positive reinforcement. Yeah, and then you end up a Blue Origin, right? And now you're putting us on Mars. Is that what's happening?
Or we're putting you guys in space. It's better than Mars because Mars is limited.
Yeah. Are you? Well, I mean, I guess are you guys trying to go to the moon? Like, what is Blue Origin's overall goal right now? I don't understand. Didn't actually dive into them too much. Just a side tangent question.
Yeah, for sure. So if you go to Blue Origin's website, our big mission is millions of people living and working in space.
Living and working in space. So just in the space in general. Okay, cool.
Well, literally in space, not in planets, because space is unlimited versus planets being limited. If we were able to somehow populate Mars, we'd probably only be able to double in size because Mars is still a planet. Yeah. But if we're able to populate space, at that point it's literally unlimited.
Oh shit! You mean like huge space stations? Just like
like have you seen the O'Neill? Look up O'Neill colonies. Look up O'Neill colonies. O'Neill colonies. So O'Neill colonies was actually inspired from fictional writing, right? Of like people and this utopia in space, the O'Neill cylinder, right? But you can just look at the images.
Okay.
So basically, this big cylinder that's rotating at the perfect speed to imitate gravity, and then you just have this environment where you're able to actually create, like, simulate a different world.
So like it's like Halo from Halo, right?
Yeah, exactly like a Halo. It's just like another place you could live in space. And if you can create that, at that point, it's like, dude, you can expand and grow as big as you want. You don't have to worry about, like, hey, if we colonizate Mars, what happens when we run out of space in Mars, like here on Earth, or resources, or whatever that may be?
Long term, yeah, because like getting to a different solar system is like, that's like another beast in its own. I see. Dude, that's cool. I was just curious. I don't want to get too off topic on this topic, but awesome. So backtracking a little bit. So you said, I was leading. Do you remember what I asked you before one of this thing? We were talking about. Do you remember?
I think we were talking, dude. It might have been we're talking if college was worth it. Then we started talking about, and then we started talking about, how the experience plays. So that's when I went to Flappy Bird, because I learned Android development because I was obsessed with Flappy Bird. That's where I was like, I need to learn how to program applications so I could be rich. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't my path, but I had a lot of fun learning how to develop mobile applications. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess to answer this question directly, let's kind of dissect a little bit. We've kind of just been chatting for a bit about college versus not. But to put it very clearly, what is your opinion on having like what scenario is college like the right decision, and what scenario is college the wrong decision, versus like being self-taught or doing a coding boot camp, or even taking a course from people like us, learning how to code from us.
I think if I were in my own shoes back in the I was going to say back in the future, back in the past, these would be the two things that would dictate to me whether I want to go to college or not. One is my finances. Okay, so with my specific college is huge. My specific college case, I was in the same city where I grew up, so I was able to live in my house, and I had scholarships enough that my first 2 years of college, I was actually getting a $500 paycheck from school, plus everything was already paid off, and I had a job. So during college, I was in the financial situation where I finished college like with money in my bank, right? And not a lot of people have that fortunate situation. So if you have to go $20,000 into debt, and that was a decision I made. I could have gone to UT. It's a better known college, but I would have had to take a loan. I didn't have a scholarship. I would have put myself $80,000 in debt, and I was not willing to do that. Didn't matter what the hell I was going to do graduating. I was not willing to do that.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, even if you land a 6-figure job at a good company, it's going to take you like 2 to 5 years to pay it off, depending where you're living. Because a lot of the high-paying jobs too, like if you're in San Fran, 100K isn't that much, because you're living in San Fran where the living expenses is just super high. So you're only saving so much a year. So that student debt is nasty. So that's one big thing. If you're going to go into student debt, I feel like college is almost never worth it, in my opinion. I mean, there's a bunch of different point of views online. Like here, let me change to my desktop. So I did a search here on Google earlier. It says, is college worth it for programmers? So the first thing that pops up is degree. Probably not worth it unless you're not self-confident enough to get hired without one. So softwareengineering.stockexchange.com. I don't even know who this is, but this is the first thing that popped up.
Can I add something to that? Because that's close to my second answer.
Yeah.
So my second answer comes down to self-awareness. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is I would have to know myself and my past and how, basically what he says, how confident I am in my ability to teach myself and to surround myself with the right people, or whether, and I started to pay and surround myself with the right people or with people who could level me up, whether it was through college or through like some sort of programming community, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just had to have that level of self-awareness, whether, hey, can I really put my nose to the grindstone, learn everything by myself, try to involve myself with communities, go out there, network, or is it better for me if I kind of have a roadmap laid out, even though it might not be the perfect roadmap for me, even though I might deviate from it, but at least having that roadmap gets me started to build that confidence. So I want to go back to that answer. I think that's the second part, which is having that self-awareness in your confidence. If you can surround yourself with the right community and the right mentors, whether that's through school or whether that's through a programming community like Clever Programmer, then at that point you could build a confidence in either one, but you have to know which one you are going to respond better to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whatever. I feel like, yeah, college is very expensive, and there is a lot of value in having that degree, because from a default perspective, like, they will probably prefer somebody with a degree versus somebody without a degree if everything else is the same, because it's kind of like a proven track record of, oh, you've done this. But if you're gonna go into debt, like, I don't personally think it's worth it for me. I wasn't in debt. I paid off school as I was going through it because I went to an affordable college, and I had a decent job and I worked part-time. But I think at the end of the day, whatever the best learning and networking environment for you is good for you to achieve your goals, that would be the best place to be. So a lot of people in our courses here at Clever Programmer, by the way, if anybody wants to join, if anybody wants to become a JavaScript web developer and make a living from it as a freelancer, or eventually land a job at a cool company, a fame company, like where Daniel works, then we have a free webinar training down in the description. You can check it out, and it's completely free. Just watch it. It gives you some value, and then at the end, we offer you to join the course if you actually want to pursue things further, which is just a paid course, and you can join our community, and you have like a network of all developers and accountability. So really cool. Mentioning that if that's your kind of thing, but if not, totally cool too. But let's get back to that.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I was saying,
yeah,
you have to pick your community. You have to pick your mentors. Now the question is, if it's college, are you going to put tens of thousands of dollars into a system that for programmers has been proven that you don't need? Or is it going to be in a community like the Clever Programmer community, where you can learn and build projects? Like I said, projects are king. You learn and build projects through experience, and you're able to network with people who are maybe at a little level above you, a little level under you at the same level, and you could learn from every single one. You could help people out. And it's just your choice. Who do you want to surround yourself with? Because everyone already knows, it's the most cliche thing, but you are the average of your 5 closest people.
Yeah.
Right? Your 5 closest friends. Mm-hmm. And if you don't take that to heart, in 5 years, you're going to be in the exact same fucking spot you're in right now. You're going to be in this wishful thinking like, man, what if I did do that? Where could I be right now?
The years disappear because you're doing the same thing day in and day out. But if you're around people who are doing ambitious things as well, other ambitious developers, other freelancers, people like us that are working at companies like Killer Programmer or Blue Origin, then you're constantly reminded of what's possible and what you can do, and then you can kind of get out of that. You can kind of change your trajectory.
You got to pattern interrupt. You got to switch your way of living. You got to switch your way of thinking.
Shock yourself.
Exactly. Albert Einstein said it. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking you're going to get a different result.
Yeah,
if you're not in the community and you're not getting results, well, you got to go get in the community, and then you'll start getting closer to getting results, if not getting those results.
Yeah. So, very important about the learning environment and the community that you're in. One argument for college is that, because honestly, I met a lot of good professors. I mean, I feel like 15% of my professors were good. Like 15% of the professors and 15% of the classes were good. And then that overlap was probably like 5% of the classes were actually applicable to what I was doing. Like learning the programming basics and everything, I probably could have done that on my own. But a class like algorithms or something could be a little bit difficult. So I feel like those classes were worth it. But other than that, I made a lot of good friends and made some connections. That's how I got my internship. But I feel like if I knew about this thing like Clever Programmer, or even coding boot camps, which are like around $10,000 were available, I might have done that instead. Just because save some money, cut out the bullshit. Like you don't have to take political science and writing and all these other things. But it really depends. Like, honestly, I feel like college was worth it for me, but not for my professional career, mainly for the connections I built and the experiences I had. So it was worth it in that aspect, 100%. But from a business perspective, like if you're more business oriented and you want to freelance or you want to do something cool or start a startup, then you really don't need anything at all. You just got to have the drive. You got to have the right people around you, like Daniel said. You got to have the vision and the belief and the confidence to just go for it. You can learn things on your own. Like do problems on HackerRank, and just get good and just land a job. Like does Google, did Google look at your resume? How did you land that interview with Google and then get the job offer too?
With Google, I think I just sent in my resume. It passed the filtering process, and then we just went into the interview process. So I had to do my phone interview. I had to do my virtual technical interview. Then I had to do my on-site technical interview after that. And then similar thing for Microsoft. They actually came to the campus. I did a campus interview. Then it was good enough to take me on for the on-site interview, and I did that on-site interview, and that's what I ended up doing for those two. But so I guess I just wanted to take it back a little bit, but you asked me that question, like, hey, was it worth it for me? Would I do it again? I would do college again, because again, of those two specific situations, financially, I ended up making money from college, right? And second, self-awareness, I knew that I wasn't in that spot just yet where I was confident in my ability to learn by myself, so I kind of needed that roadmap. But I would do college completely different if I was able to go back and do it, right? Like on my side,
agreed.
During my history classes, I'd be programming, right?
Yes, finishing your coding project application, while you're learning about political science. Like that was back in the days when Trump was.
I'd be making Flappy Bird, bro.
Bro, I'm terrible at that game, man. My score was.
Everyone was. I don't think there was a single. I never met a single good. If you have a score higher than 50 on Flappy Bird and you have a screenshot from the past, you better put it on YouTube or something. I want to see that.
Sure. Let me see if there's any questions, by the way, in the comments.
Yeah, let's do it, boss.
Yeah. I mean, these aren't really. They're asking web development questions. Google dumped Angular. Is that true? Did Google dump Angular? Mr. Unabe? I don't know if that's true or not.
All right, guys, do this right now. If you have a question about college, if you have a question about developing your career path, go ahead and drop some questions down there so that we can answer them. Because again, I feel this is so much value, because this is literally our chance to mentor you.
Got it, guys.
Virtual, yeah. This is our chance to literally mentor you. We can pick up your question right now. We can tell you, hey, from Aaron's experience, from my experience, what would we do in that case? And now, literally, you could go forward and do whatever it is that you need to do next. So, guys, this is a super rare opportunity. This is an opportunity that, you can also have inside of the community if you happen to come across us and reach out to us. But, again, take advantage of it. If not, then we'll just keep playing Flappy Bird.
No, I'm not going to play Flappy Bird. I have to keep an eye on the chat to see if there's any questions. I don't take so somebody says he doesn't take the useless classes in college. I mean, that's true. Another good question is how to get experience in college. So those two questions. So I don't take the useless classes. I mean, it depends on the college you go to. I know a lot of more modern colleges that got approved for their curriculum. They can kind of get away with bending things, but usually for most colleges, you're required to. Well, let me change the camera here. Back to us. You're usually required to take political science and history and stuff, right? You have to, and then you kind of front load all your major classes. You have to major in something in college, but I mean you can only do that to an extent, right? I feel that is useful, but I mean you are going to be bringing a lot of time. It's just you kind of have to see the other value of being in college if you really want to do it. Another question though is how to gain experience in college. So I'm gonna take that as real world experience, while you're doing it. And I mean, first thing for me is maybe just land a part-time job at a small company or a paid internship or something. The internship for me didn't work out for some reason. People didn't care about it. They wanted actual experience, a real job, even though I was getting paid at a real company doing real work. I was confused about that distinction there. But I would probably just try to find a job right away. Use your connections with your professors or something like that. Do a summer job or something like that. I didn't personally do it. Did you have any experience? I mean, you did. You mentioned your externship.
Yeah. So I mean, I was willing to do whatever the fuck I had to do to get a job. So I said, I'm gonna give up my Fridays. I'm gonna work for free so that I can learn this and I can get the job and I can start to get that experience. So if you happen to be, oh man, no one's hiring me, I'm sending out my applications. Well, fucking work for free. You're not worth anything yet. If you're not getting hired, you're not worth anything yet. You haven't proven yourself. You haven't gotten that experience. So be willing to put yourself out for free. Work, learn, get that experience, right? Don't do it for the money. Do it because you like it. Do it because you want to learn more. Do it because you want to grow more. When you actually become worth something, that's when you're going to get paid big dollars.
Yeah, definitely. And me personally, I had my internship in the very last semester of my college. So my 8th semester before I graduated. I took 4 years in my undergrad. And I thought it would, I thought it would have been more beneficial if I actually landed an internship much earlier on in my programming career. So honestly, a lot of my early classes were kind of bad at my undergrad school, and I couldn't really grasp the concepts that easily. I feel like if I went to a better school, it actually would have been much better, and I could have landed something. But if you can land an internship, like a summer internship in your first summer of college, that'd be great, like for free, like you're like unpaid, like Daniel said. Just get the experience. You're not worth anything. Prove that to yourself. Exactly. It might be painful, but if you're doing it for free, then hey, it's good. Pop down your resume, and then the next summer, maybe try to get a paid internship. In the third summer, maybe try to get a part-time job and actually get some real experience, and then do part-time work and part-time school until you finish your degree. But if you can actually get some experience and degree in tandem, I feel like that's actually good. Again, I mean, how do you land that part-time job to begin with? Because you need experience to get that job. So chicken or the egg, it's a struggle. But I mean, if you maximize your networking and everything, then you eventually find something. I mean, that's how I met Kazi, and connections are very strong. Yeah, so ask your professors if you're in college, if they have any options.
And like available. I said, you can always also be working on your own projects on the side, something you're passionate about, something that you want to learn.
Absolutely, we didn't even mention that, like portfolios and projects. But didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh,
just go on.
Yeah, no, perfect point. Like right now, I'm coaching my friend, so that basically he was like an economics major. Right now, he's doing data analysis for a company. He's like, hey, I want to be a programmer. Like if you go to his GitHub, literally his very first line of code was committed in February. As of right now, as of August, he is this close to landing his first programmer developer job. How was he able to do that? He put in the work. For those 7 months, after his 40-hour work week, he was getting straight to programming, and he was enjoying it. He hired another mentor. He had 2 people, one in the industry, another mentor who's helped people through that transition, and he's learning as much as he can. He's applying as much as he can, and he was doing it through his building projects. And I guarantee you, he's going to get a first job, and it's going to be paid because of the experience he got from just building projects. So here's the thing. If you also take that route where you want to build projects and get the experience, it's not this one project that's going to make it like, oh man, this one project is going to give me my job. No. You better build like 10 fucking projects. Out of those 10 projects, maybe 1 or 2 are going to be good. Those are the ones you put on your resume. Not like, oh, I built 2 projects and I get a job now. No, motherfucker. You better be putting in the time to build out project after project after project to really learn what you have to do to build those experiences. And out of those shitty projects that are going to have, just a couple are going to be worth showing.
Yeah, definitely. You want to showcase with your best foot forward and make sure you do enough of the work to get there. It's like anything, working out. You gotta do enough work to get the results. So if you're serious about something, like put in the effort. So definitely build a lot, build portfolios, and portfolio is useful if you want to freelance or get a job. It doesn't matter. Hey, your camera went out of focus, bro, a little bit.
Shit.
What was I saying?
Best foot forward.
Yeah, best foot forward. And you just want to get things on your portfolio so you can really just put your best foot forward. I think that was the whole point. I was wrapping up there.
Yeah, perfect. It's a perfect.
Yeah, like if the program, I mean, if the applications you built are kind of relevant to what you're doing too, then that's a big bonus. It's like, hey, I've done this before. Even if you don't have different work experience, if you can get through the interview and kind of just showcase and really show them that you'll be a good fit for the position and speak to them clearly and show them what you've done, then you have a good chance of landing a job. So let me see if there's any other questions. Do you have anything to add to that, Daniel?
Yeah, portfolio, man. I mean, I honestly did not have a portfolio. I had a resume, Same. But I'm telling you, like, the thing I told my friend is like, yo, we need to build that portfolio, because a portfolio is, look, when they're hiring you, they're not hiring a developer, they're hiring a person. Okay?
Yeah.
They're not hiring a developer, they're hiring a person. That's something you also have to understand when you go into the hiring process. But let's take it the other way. So what you have to understand is they're not looking for projects. They're looking for a human that is going to be compatible to the skill sets and the soft skills, the soft people communication skills that they need to fill the role. So portfolio is a great way to communicate that, because you can put, literally, you can put your personality on a web page, which is insane. Like a resume, you can't put your personality. Like you can't. The only thing you could write about is shit that you've done. Like, hey, I worked as this and I did that experience or whatever. In your portfolio, in your website, you can put your personality. You can make like a little blog. You could post content. You could document what you've been doing. You could document like, man, I worked on this project. I struggled a lot. You share a story. You share your struggle, and people are able to see your transformation. They're able to see your specific journey. And if you build out a portfolio in that manner, when you show it to someone, they see that human characteristic of you. And it's not just a resume. It's not just all these papers that are coming across your desk.
Yeah. And your coding style too. They can see like if you commented your code right and all that stuff.
Exactly. And now someone sees it, they understand if you're going to be a good fit for what it is they're looking for, because it's not just words on a paper.
Yeah, you're not just another paper in the stack. You know, you can stand a little bit more with your portfolio. I mean, the one counter argument to that is a lot of people do have portfolios, so you're competing with all of them. But it just goes back to you gotta have your stuff together and get some good projects on your portfolio. That's why we're so project based here at Clever Programmer. Like we love building all these clones on YouTube, and in our paid courses and programs and mentoring and coaching, we teach a lot of project based things. Everything is project based, so you're building portfolios basically. That's what you're doing when you join over our courses. Or going through our YouTube content. So all these are great things. People have already landed jobs just by going through our free coding clones.
Yeah, I just keep switching it because my camera's messing up. My bad, brother.
All good. But yeah, so we actually have people landing like 90K, 96K, 100K, 110K jobs and contracts just by doing some of the apps that we built up together and just popping on our portfolio and showcasing, putting their best foot forward. It's like, hey, this person built a COVID tracker. This person built a Instagram clone, a Netflix clone, a Hulu clone, an Amazon clone. And if people see that and they're really impressed by it and they want to friend a developer, that usually has a big wow factor. And apparently it's been working for people. So definitely do that. I think portfolio is honestly stronger than a resume, because at the end of the freaking day, they want you to be able to code up whatever they need to be done. Of course, they're hiring a person, so don't be a weirdo. But if you're a decent person, you fit in, and then you also have the skill set, and you've proven that through portfolio, then you have a really good chance of landing whatever job is in front of you, regardless of college or not. So, did you? Exactly. Well, you had offers at Google and Microsoft and Blue Origin. Was it just those three? Yeah. Nothing else?
Those are the only three I applied to, and I ended up getting them. So I was like, damn. Why? Like at first I was like, why keep applying? But now looking back, I was like, dude, I should have applied everywhere, man. Because it's cool when they fly you out, they pay for everything. So it's like, dude, I could have gone all over the world.
Dang, man, that's cool. I kind of wish I went down that route a little bit, but I just kind of jumped on Clever Program right away. I guess I went down the startup route very, very fast with Kazi here, building the brand a little bit more the past 2 years. But I feel like we've hit most of the point. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, there's gonna be so many things that would be nice that we could do, right? But one of the biggest things that I think I learned from Warren Buffett, he's like, look, this is what you gotta do. You gotta get a paper.
Happy birthday, Warren Buffett. Turned 90 today. Turned 90 today.
This is for Warren Buffett, baby. This is for Warren Buffett.
Yeah, what's up, Warren Buffett?
That's hilarious. But basically, today. Warren Buffett says, okay, 90. This 90-year-old billionaire said this. He's like, get a sheet of paper and write out 25 things that you want to do with your life, right? Like these 25 things that you know in the end you want to accomplish, you want to be able to do whatever that may be. And then what you need to do next is you need to scratch out 20 of those. And the 5 that you haven't scratched out, those are the things you're going to focus on.
Yeah.
And the principle behind that is you have to understand that in life there's going to be so many things that you can do. What if, like right now you might be doing software, and like, man, what if instead of software, I don't know, I did some Instagram modeling. Instagram modeling is a thing now, you know. Like, what if I did something else, right? So there's going to be so many things distracting you, right? But you have to focus on those 5 things that you're going to prioritize, because maybe Instagram modeling was like number 10, but it's off your list now. And you have to focus on that top one, which is software, becoming the developer that you want to become, whether it's a freelancer, whether that's getting a job with the big tech company, with the startup, whatever that may be. Because fundamentally, when you start to focus, that's when you actually start to get clear about your goals and make progress in the direction that you want to go.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Daniel. Dang, you so much value provided. Thank you for hopping on this call. I was ready to just like answer questions and go by myself, but Daniel hopped on last minute. He works with us, by the way, clever programmer. I don't think he's ever been on a stream before, so this might be a new face, but killer guy, killer programmer. Very interesting story. But last thing, we should start probably wrapping up in the next few minutes here. One question that I want to say is, somebody was saying, how do you get started with an entry-level portfolio as a programmer? So just to clearly answer that question, just start coding projects, man. Like, start coding some of the stuff on our YouTube channel, join our paid courses, start building those in the portfolio, and just build things that you're passionate about and excited about, because that's the best way to get started. You have to be excited at the beginning, and then eventually once a habit's built, sometimes it gets kind of rough, but you can keep doing it because you have the habit. But at the beginning, just build cool projects and upload it to your GitHub and just have it in a presentable way and just build a huge portfolio. That's why it's called a portfolio. Like, just start with a random clone. If you can't pick one, here, I'm going to tell you one. Go build the Netflix clone. Go find it. I think Sunny and Kazi coded it up. It's a great app. Just go code it up and put that on your portfolio. So go do that like literally right after this video. If you don't have a portfolio and you're a completely beginner coder, I mean, if you're a complete beginner coder, I think you need to know JavaScript to actually go to that video. But if you know JavaScript basics, if you've been watching this for a while, just go do that and get that on your portfolio like right now. Go from beginning to end, okay?
Yeah, and I want to add to that real quick. What I told my friend who's transitioning, right? In those 7 months, he's built out like 8 or 9 projects, right? Now let me tell you, those first 7 are really crappy projects. They're really beginner projects. Like the first one was literally like a hello world. He has an alarm clock when you go to a page that's ticking. Like, he was just learning basic JavaScript. He has that in his GitHub, but that's not necessarily showcasing his portfolio, right? He later did like a simple rock, paper, scissors stuff. He has that on GitHub because he's documenting his journey, but he doesn't necessarily have that on his portfolio. Now he got to the point where he has this complicated to-do application, right? It's like a to-do application. You can add things, prioritize things. You could put time around things. Like, it's this awesome application that he did, right? And whether he started to get creative with it, he started to add a bunch of things. Now, that's also on GitHub, so you can see his documentation, but that's part of the portfolio. Because like I said, you need to build out 10 projects, and 10 of them, 7, 8 are probably going to suck, and then 2 of them are going to be really good, right?
Yeah, now, that's how it is.
The other thing is, when you're building out those projects, if you're going and you're following Sunny or Naz or whoever's doing them, make sure you understand what the fuck you're building. Because if you put that on your portfolio, people are going to want to talk about that. And they're going to be like, hey, so tell us about the COVID tracker, or tell us about, the Netflix clone. And if you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to be obvious. I mean, anyone could go follow a tutorial. Not everyone could build something out on their own. So here's my challenge to you. After you build it, or after you build any of these things, add your own twist to it. I don't mean change it from black to white. I don't mean some stupid CSS stuff. I mean, like, make it challenging, right? If it's a Netflix thing, what if you could add something in the back end that can track a user and their favorite movies? And then you know how Netflix has like the 97% tracking thing? Or like, this is 97%, probably you're going to like this or not, or whatever.
The recommended page, the algorithm.
Try to implement that. Try to see if you could figure that out.
Yeah, just like every time you click on one, like here's a cool one. Like if you click on one of the videos, like in the Netflix app, once you're done, when you click on a video, it'll actually play the trailer for that show or movie. Why don't you keep a counter and then just have like an ordered rank, like, oh, this is your favorite show, favorite movie, this is your second favorite, depending on how many times you clicked on it. So that's a very simple thing to implement, but you could do that. You could even go and try to create a very similar app, like an Amazon Prime app or something. Like, you could try to mirror a very similar app and just apply the same ideas to another project, and then boom, now you have 2 projects, and one was a tutorial and one you kind of came up with it yourself. So so definitely portfolios, no matter what, is really good. It just really showcases your skills, and I think at the end of the day, college is only worth it first of all, for the experience. I think it's worth it. And if you're going to a really good school and you kind of want to go down the academic route, then it's worth it. And if it's cheap, it's worth it. So if it meets those 3 criteria, yes. But other than that, I honestly think being self-taught and doing some things on your own is the better course. And then you can try to get some experience. And then at that point, if you really want to pursue higher level education, you can. But I mean, once you start making money, you're kind of just like you don't really want to go to college and pay money to do stuff, and like you have to it's just, once you're in the real world, you eventually get used to it and you start pursuing the things that actually matter to you. So I feel like personally, college is worth it for a year, and then drop out and then go to pursue your own stuff. Like have 1 year of the college life and then see how it is, make some friends, go to some parties, and then actually start getting yourself together and pursuing stuff. So that's my opinion. And